energy that makes sounds, and it's like even if you know the letters, the shapes, because it'll make the shapes too. Even if the shapes aren't authentic, because we have to be aware of that to go back to what I was saying. So the scheme from its original creativity and the person who made it up, so that means it'll be a time. So, you'd have a celestial identity. And this is just a fact. Even if you'd say this was it and life was only, say if life was really only 50 years old based on the size we are and the distance from the solar energy loom in the planet Earth, and then that means all these things will have to be concepts of the person who thought of reality, whether it was decorative or he felt that it was scientifically inevitable, and it exists because of that, because it has a photogenic manual scheme to it in order to exist. I mean, yeah, it's like, how did the person who created everything create it before he even existed, before he was. So that's when you have this concept that I'm talking about, and it's called photogenic materialistic reality. It's the ability, it's just photogenic reality. It's like, if you look at a human and how a human is made, which is a thought, which is a concept, which is more proof of photogenic materialistic reality. You spawn, not that reproduction isn't real, which is another thought and a concept. You know what I'm saying? Which will bear facts on why humans are made like they're made. You know what I'm saying? On the scheme, based on the conceptual scheme to do the things we do. You know what I'm saying? We eat, make love, we do manual things, right? On a photogenic materialistic scheme, though, and that's a thought. It's a sculptural thought. A concepted, carved, specific thought. It's a concept. So you have like the person who made it up. So say, just because you have to be for real, when you have electronic temperament and you have this kind of equipment that can cultivate a person and that a person can evaporate, you know, and that's so real, even if people could evaporate. I mean, it's just the temperature that'll keep them around. If you can keep this temperature up, they wouldn't, right? But it's even more conceptual than that. I mean, it's just here not to evaporate, and it's just the temperature. It can all be contained in the simple little thought of a temperature. If that's the case, we can keep a temperature to keep you up. You just keep that temperature, and you can keep yourself up. You'd be sort of self-existent like that, or you'd be creative like that. So, okay, so you have that about a person. And then when you wonder about, when you look back, to what could have been an original scheme of a solar system. So it'll reflect things like historical reality, history, medical reality, governmental reality, social realities, authoritative realities. This is realistic, to a scheme of a societal agenda. You have a real solar system. So you look at a mythical expression of a solar system. You say, how could this be done? The only way it could have been done, if you have an original solar system and people spawn in the scheme of reality from the time or from the way the person who made it up done it, even if it was just a non-cardinal being who done it, you still have the way it really was. And then you still have the reality of a non-cardinal being, quote unquote, if that's who done it, doing things. So when it comes to like temperament or, masquerading a whole expression of a reality, you won't say you couldn't do it. It's different ways to do it. When you say that, you immediately think of a whole solar system and spaceships to take you way out to atmosphere parameters and trying to recreate a whole nother solar energy loom far enough not to disturb this solar system atmosphere's condition, and which is an impossible. You know what I'm saying? To anything that's real, you just could do what you can do. Something you can do it. If you couldn't, you couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but at the same time, you have psychological reality, which motivates a person to do anything they do. If it's something you shouldn't do and it makes no sense, you won't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just not gonna happen because it's just not magnetic reality dealing with a person and thinking which controls what they do. But when you have equipment that is basically used for keeping people healthy, which like energy chambers and stuff like that, keeping people healthy, you can manipulate what a person do, quote unquote, because reality is reality. Making you can like like a puppet. It's sort of like a remote control car with a remote control to a car with a remote control to it. If you make a second remote, it's not that the first remote isn't real when it doesn't work because the second remote you made takes influence over the first remote. You know what I'm saying? It's like a person. That's what I'm saying. That's what electronic temperament is. It's like a person, and then you like make a second remote or a make believe remote to that person to make him appear to do things he really isn't doing. It really isn't fair. And that comes in, that plays in. People are like, man, what are you talking about? Why are you saying it? Because it plays in if the original celestial identity is completely different from this, and then you have all these historical myths, like just historical myths, like for instance, like I said, if reality really could have only started 50 years ago for the reality of a human size and a distance from the solar energy loom, I mean, then that'll mean that historical these historical facts, quote unquote, are myths. Mythical expressions of education or world information or information about life. Man, just like you have just like the reality of a human could be healthy. And Celsius energy, you have like nucleus, Celsius, Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Celsius nucleus. Celsius Fahrenheit is hot, Celsius is warm, which is even creative temperature, and then you have Celsius nucleus, which is cold. So but you have this expression of a solar system. They're telling you basically they're saying you can unmagnetize magnetic energy. In the medical world, to say it in different words, they're saying you can unmagnetize magnetic energy, but you can't. And it's just, not. It's just not good. It's just not realistic. First of all, so and then we have all these myths, and it's like health myths. People could be healthy no matter what, right? So you have medical myths of this mythical expression of a solar system that say people can't be healthy at some point in time. People can't be healthy, and you'd wonder: is it going? Is it all based? Is it going by like this the scheme of like the Bible? Because the Bible even speaks about these same sort of myths, and you know you have if life really only could have started like say for instance 50 years ago, and then you have like the things that's in the Bible, which if they don't support the facts about the amount of time life could have only started and amount up to this day, then it's just not going to be the truth. So going on from there, then you have like what we would want to myth about the person who could have made it up in general, or how could that possibly be going away from the Bible and the New Testament where it said it can only mean, because for the fact of sharing oneness, it can only mean, we was all that one person. And how does that go? Not to just become overly stagnated right there or overly hesitated right there, and you're just right there, not continuing to think and scrutinize more figurative as okay based on all those facts. Now how could it be, how could the scheme of reality be, and creativity and all those sort of things you have. So you have a human, more than just a etheric being. So you have this human which is more than just an etheric being. So you look at complexions and you look at photosynthesis, you look at this human. So you look at a perfect human, your hairline, and your hairline is square hairline, and a simple man, a simple perfect, as perfect as he could be. You consider your hairline to be perfect when it's either round or square. It goes just basic, what's more appealing, you know what I'm saying? In psychological normality, and it comes out, it isn't, I don't know, it isn't anything strange or what? It's just perfect is perfect. For when you look, me personally, I think a square lining is more perfect. It just looks more perfect. When you're dealing with the human and their agendas, some things, square lining. So just like if it was a round lining, that psychological outlook, that why, realistic why, you know what I'm saying? Not a tainted why and a tainted answer to it, because it's a real best way, right? That honesty. So, however, right, it's the only honesty we all could have and share. So, like I said, like as much as I'm saying, I think it's square. If it was round, okay, so that means anybody with a square hairlining could only evolve into a round hairlining, when you reach that perfection, which could be a fitness situation. Now, you say you have a fitness situation and that perfection in fitness, you know what I'm saying? You have this person. Okay, I'll go back a little bit because my time getting short too. Okay, you have this person and you have that perfection. Says the round hairline, and okay, so he got the round hairline and everything all perfect.